Welcome to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gubin. This segment of the news is sponsored by Total Caribbean Network. Here are the stories that we're following today, September 20th, 2013. In international news, Pope Francis has warned that the Catholic Church moral structure might fall like a house of cards if it doesn't balance its divisive rules about abortion, gays, and contraception with the greater need to make it a merciful, more welcoming place for all. 6 months into his papacy, Francis set out his vision for the Church and his priorities as Pope in a lengthy and remarkably blunt interview with La Civiltà Cattolica, the Italian Jesuit magazine. It was published simultaneously Thursday in Jesuit journals in 16 countries, including America Magazine in the U.S. In the 12,000-word article, Francis expands on his groundbreaking comments over the summer about gays and acknowledges some of his own faults. He sheds light on his favorite composers, artists, authors, and films, and says he prays even while at the dentist's office. But his vision of what the Church should be stands out, primarily because it contrasts so sharply with many of his priorities of his immediate predecessors, John Paul II and Benedict. They were both intellectuals for whom doctrine was paramount, an orientation that guided the selection of a generation of bishops and cardinals around the globe. Francis said the dogmatic and the moral teachings of the Church were not all equivalent. Rather, he said the Catholic Church must be like a field hospital after battle, healing the wounds of its faithful and going out to find those who have been hurt, excluded, or have fallen away. The admonition is likely to have sharp reverberations in the United States, where some bishops have already publicly voiced dismay that Francis hasn't hammered home church teaching on abortion, contraception, and homosexuality, areas of the culture wars where U.S. bishops often put themselves on the front lines. U.S. bishops were also behind Benedict's crackdown on American nuns, who were accused of letting doctrine take a backseat to their social justice work, caring for the poor, precisely the priority that Francis is endorsing. Just last week, Bishop Thomas Tobin of Providence, Rhode Island, said in an interview that he was a little bit disappointed that Francis hadn't addressed abortion since being elected. Francis acknowledged that he had been reprimanded for not speaking on such issues, but he said he didn't need to. The Vatican vets all content of the journal, and the Pope approved the Italian version of the article. Nothing, Francis said, indicates any change in church teaching, but he has set a different tone and signaled new priorities compared to Benedict and John Paul, priorities that have already been visible in his simple style, his outreach to the most marginalized, and his insistence that priests be pastors, not bureaucrats. It also shows a very human Francis. He seemingly had no qualms about admitting that his tenure as superior of Argentina's Jesuit order in the 1970s, starting at the crazy age of 36, was difficult because of his authoritarian temperament. The key, he said, is for the Church to welcome, not exclude, and show mercy, not condemnation. Nigerian politicians have exchanged punches after a splinter group from the governing People's Democratic Party tried to address Parliament. The lower house had just reconvened after a 7-week break, during which the new PDP faction was formed. But a BBC reporter says MPs loyal to President Goodluck Jonathan began shouting and jeering, which upset their rivals, and scuffles broke out. The new faction does not want President Jonathan to seek re-election in 2015. He has not yet said whether he will stand, but some of his allies, including his wife, have started campaigning for him. The BBC's Ibrahim Issa says he saw one politician tear the shirt of another in chaotic scenes at Nigeria's House of Representatives in the capital, Abuja. The brawl lasted for about 10 minutes, with legislators hitting each other. TV footage reportedly shows a female legislator poking her finger in the face of a colleague. Another politician was seen grabbing a chair in an attempt to hit a fellow lawmaker. The PDP has won every national election since the end of military rule in 1999, so the party's presidential candidate would be in a strong position to become Nigeria's next leader. Mr. Jonathan has been president since 2010, when his predecessor died in office and he was promoted from vice president. He beat off a challenge to become PDP candidate in the 2011 elections, which he won despite opposition claims of rigging. A court in the Brazilian capital of Brasilia has fined social networking site Facebook the equivalent of more than $2,000 for failing to delete a false profile of a user who had asked that it be removed. A court official says Thursday that Facebook must compensate the user for moral damage. The user's name was not revealed. The court official spoke on condition of remaining anonymous because she was not authorized to comment on the case. She said Facebook could appeal the ruling at the Superior Court of Justice, Brazil's top appeals court. According to the court's website, Facebook said it could not monitor or exercise preventive control over millions of postings because that would amount to censorship, which is illegal in Brazil. You are watching Caribbean Affiliate News. We will be right back.
Hey, excuse me, if you see me smiling, that's 'cause I'm chilling on Total Caribbean Network. It's your boy Wyclef Jean, man, and I'm chilling, man. Total Caribbean Network. Man, I love their style. Whoa, 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 whoa.